Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Vertex eSports, and welcome to the season finale here at Silverstone. The Dallara DW12 is the car that we're going to be using this time round in the Mixed Bag World Cup. And what a fantastic evening we have planned for you. Not only are we at Silverstone, one of the greatest circuits in the world, but we're also at Silverstone in its former glory. Thanks to the magic of sim racing, we can go back to 2008 to this older scan of iRacing's Silverstone, using the very, very old Grand Prix circuit as it was back in 2008. None of the wing, none of any of the new part in the middle. It's the Silverstone that most of us remember. And the cars themselves are legacy pieces of kit on iRacing as well. The Dallara DW12, of course, surpassed by the Dallara IR18. But what an amazing bit of kit this is. My name is Chaz Draycott as well, speaking of amazing bits of kit. And I am really excited to see who we can crown as our champion. Speaking of champions, these are the championship points. Jason Glenn comes into the final race meeting only 6 points ahead of Alex Cedric. Ben Kriener is only 13 points behind him, 1 point ahead of Brian Krause, and Aaron Smith another 5 back. Pete Harrod is in 6th place at the moment, looking safe, with Mark Murphy in 7th on 216 points. Then he has quite the gap back to Justin Nyer and Ivan Bauman's. Mikey Doble made a few appearances in the championship, but he's away on holiday this week. Hope he's having a nice time wherever he is in the world. Then we have Kenny Mitchell 11th, David Nichols in 12th, ahead of Michael Hagstrom, Alex Zangaviga and Julian Ritchie, who only joined us for the first race of the season. But it's Jason Glenn and Alex Cedric, the ones you need to keep an eye on in this. Alex has next to no experience in Indy cars, and I know that Jason and a lot of the other guys have been practicing quite a lot. And Jason is running one hell of a livery tonight as well. It's the Track Velocity Racing modified Benetton livery from, I believe, 1995 that Michael Schumacher very famously raced. He's still having a few internet blips here and there. Here's the man that he's racing, Alex Cedric in car 9. No sponsors this evening. He said that no company would dare sponsor him in an IndyCar to pay for his lack of talent in them. But either way, look how cool these cars are, man. They are just... they're everything that I wish Formula 1 cars would be. I honestly wish that Formula 1 cars looked and sounded like this. I know they sound kind of similar, but they're just... oh, they're just stunning. Absolutely stunning. We've got Mark Murphy with us tonight in car number 58. Very colourful livery on his machine. Brian Krause back with us again as well. He's in the Jimmy Johnson Lowe's number 48. He's a humongous Jimmy Johnson fan, is Brian Krause, so hardly surprising. Pete Harrod with us as well for Pure Sims. No livery on his car, but Pete is very, very quick as well, as we've seen. Hope you enjoy the camera shots as well around here this evening. I spent a bit of time working on these cameras earlier today, so I hope they look okay. Aaron Smith back with us as well in car 70, the reigning double Vertex Stock Car Cup champion in his usual bright yellow, no logos car. Just the big black number 70 up the side of it. Absolutely love it. Ivan Bauman's is the other driver with us. Oh, he has a big, big old moment. He's in the Gulf colours. Car 268. Certainly looks good. It looks like a modern day McLaren Formula 1 car from here, doesn't it? Especially the livery they ran at Monaco. But these things are so, so fast. They just look the nuts when they come towards you. Absolutely in love with them, I am. Even still, the modern day Dallara Indy cars look absolutely spot on. But everybody loves a bit of kit that's a little bit older, don't they? No. Get your mind out of the gutter. But again, we have a nice small grid of cars, but still a very competitive one at that. It should be really interesting racing tonight. There is a 32-lap race ahead of us. But very interestingly, there's going to be a competition caution at lap 16 if the field is spread out enough. Now, the criteria on that I set earlier is if each car is over 3 seconds apart. So we'll have to wait and see how we get on. But we watch Pete Harrod now, who is at the moment just getting to the last part of his lap. He did some purple sectors, but he's actually come into the pits this time round. See how Brian Crowles goes. That's through Copse, through turn 1. Very lively indeed. Through to Maggots and Beckett's. Camera nice and far away here, but you can see the incredible direction change in these cars. It gets ever closer and closer to us. Hard on the power again. Back through onto the hanger straight, down underneath the bridge. And then all the way down here towards Stowe. Looks awesome, doesn't it? Now, if you just bear with me 1 second, I realise that I've not turned the motion blur off in the sim again, and I promised I would do that. So hopefully things look a little bit sharper for you now. It does help a little bit. Look at Brian, though, wringing the neck of this thing around here into the final section. Now, I love the fact that these guys, they do have these sort of tribute liveries, but they still have their own track velocity racing little twists on them. Across the line goes Crowles, currently just under a second off his teammate and championship leader Jason Glenn. And Mark Murphy at club, seemingly in the shade a little bit there. A little bit dark around that side of the circuit. So that run out of the chicane. I absolutely love that shot through there. Down through bridge. Such a shame about bridge. It's literally a car park now. Such an amazing corner. I remember watching the British Touring Car Championship fly through there at night, lights ablaze. But now the corner doesn't exist, and that part of the track is no longer used at all, other than for admin, let's call it. Here's Aaron Smith. Let's go on board with Aaron, see what he can do. Across the start-finish straight. 6th fastest at the moment, 130.5. Bit of grass on the inside, bit of Astra on the outside. Keeps his foot in it. Love that from Aaron Smith. A little bit of a blip in and out from him there. Trying to just keep it nice and smooth through Maggots and Beckett's. He's overdone it and he's gone around and keeps his foot in it in a little bit of frustration there, I feel, for Aaron. Takes the rear end off the car. We go back to Brian Crowles, who has a humongous lockup with Alex Cedric right behind him. Alex not particularly on his quickest lap at the moment. On an out lap, actually. That'll explain it. But he's going to push hard now. He has a championship to go and chase, with Jason Glenn at the top of it. There he is, flying across the line once again. You know what? I quite like the simple, no logoed livery. Suits the car. Down towards Maggots and Beckett's once again. Flicks it right, flicks it left, flicks it right again, then he's going to flick it left again. So much weight transfer going on there, and through some of the corners at the start of Maggots and Beckett's, you're flat, and then you're getting off the power, and then you're getting onto the brakes, and then you're getting back on the power. The car is leaning on all 4 corners in so many different ways through that section. It's working very, very hard indeed. Now, Pete Harrod has done a purple sector on his current lap in Sector 1, but he hasn't improved anywhere else. Actually, I say that he's just triggered Sector 3. There's 5 sectors on the lap. Through Sector 3, he's done a personal best. So too has Alex Cedric, 800ths off Pete Harrod's time. But Pete is on it at the moment. Could Pete potentially put in the fastest lap? He's just ahead of Alex on track, actually. He's just come out the final corners now. And no, he's pulled it over. Maybe sandbagging a little bit from Pete. Now don't forget, these cars have push to pass, which drivers can use as Cedric improves, but stays 4th fastest. 1:29.8. A few tenths of a second off Brian Crowell's. These cars do have push to pass, which only a few of them have learned to use at the moment by the look of it so far. But the session is now over, and the cars will disappear any second now. And silence falls at Silverstone. And we will now get qualifying underway. You'll hear the roar of the cars as they start to leave the pit lane in the background. But let us know your predictions for this. It's just nice to see this section of the circuit used again, isn't it? I mean, Luffield and Brooklands still used, of course, on the modern day Grand Prix circuit, but this part of the track here, where you would now go straight on from turn 1, is just used as infield now, I'm afraid. It's a real shame, but that's the legendary bridge corner. Very incredible bit of track. But we look to our championship leader and fastest man from practice, Jason Glenn. What can Jace do about going fastest in quali? Can he continue this awesome run of form? He's had a great season so far as Jason. Don't forget, in this Mixed Bag World Cup, we've had a bit of everything. We started the season way back at Imola in GT3 cars. Since then, we've had dirt ovals in the UMP modifieds. We've had the NASCAR Next Gen machinery at New Hampshire. We've had the Pro Trucks at Crandon, which was last time 3 weeks ago. An awesome round there. And now we have IndyCars at Silverstone, which in itself is a fantastic combination, but 2 legacy bits of content as described, which means they're free on iRacing. And 2 of the most exciting bits that you can get, really. As Ivan Bauman's Jason Glenn makes it through the final corner then and on to his lap. His internet seems quite stable at the moment, so we'll stick with him. He's even got my logo on the front there, bless him. Thank you, Jace. Track Velocity Racing are a bunch of great guys as well. They've really been awesome in supporting me and everything I do. Look at that through Maggots and Beckett's. That's stunning. Oh, that's not so stunning. Jason's had it one way, then the other, and around he goes. Pushing hard on this initial lap. Wow. That's not what he wanted. He's got 15 minutes of, 15 minutes of qualifying to get it right. So was this guy, Pete Harrod. He's done a purple sector 2, but on his out lap he did purple sectors, obviously, as he was one of the first cars to do a fast sector. We had a 28.9, I believe, was the fastest time in practice. So let's see what Pete can do. He's gone deep into Brooklands. Into Luffield he goes. Alex Cedric's had a moment off the track as well. I think Pete's now going to line up for a fast one. He is. I think he's got Aaron Smith just behind him as well. Are we going to get valid lap times from the top 2? 1:30.5 for Aaron Smith in the bright yellow Canary. Brian Crowell's goes fastest. 1:29.7. 3/4 of a second quicker. Mark Murphy, a 1:31.5 for him in car 58. He's gone way off the circuit at Cops. Keeps his foot in it though. And that's Cedric. Whoa, hello. What on earth has happened there, boys? Aaron Smith was attacking it through Maggots and Beckett's. Is he just going to hit? There's a bump on the inside of that curve. No, he's going to hit the grass. Whoa, Lord. Oh, that was a close one for Alex Cedric. So you'll see Aaron have his moment just in front. Alex wanted to go right, and then suddenly Aaron's car turned right on its own. It's a pretty scary moment for him. Aaron back in the pits, maybe a new set of overalls after that, some new underwear. Now Jason Glenn is back on it now. He's going for another fast lap. 1:29.7, the fastest time at the moment by Brian Crowles. Pete Harrod has done 2 purple sectors and crosses the line now. And he goes fastest. That's 3 purple sectors for Pete Harrod. 1:28.7, that's very quick indeed. What can Jason Glenn do? He's 2 tenths down on Pete in Sector 1, 3 tenths down in Sector 2. He's pretty much matched him through Sectors 3 and 4. There's only a couple of hundredths between them there. Let's see, he's about half a second off coming into the last sector. Crosses the line. And yeah, just under 6 tenths of a second off at the moment for Jason Glenn. So, amazing pace by Pete Harrod of Pure Sims. That's really, really strong pace by Pete. Handsome Pete, as he's known. He's a great lad. Really is. Very, very good friend of mine. Only lives a stone's throw away. Had many a funny evening of sim racing with Pete. I think these cars just look phenomenal. I absolutely love it. I'm really sorry if you get bored of me saying that I enjoy these cars, but who wouldn't? You can hear the turbos making their wonderful whistling noise, even at low revs, to make sure that there's no turbo lag. Hard on the power again goes Pete. He's done another purple sector on this lap. He's done a personal best in Sector 4. Not sure if it's enough to improve overall, though. Sectors 1, 3 and 5 were not improvements for Pete. And I think he's actually had an incident point somewhere around the lap because his time didn't count. Alex Cedric back on it again. He's not had a clean lap yet. Ivan Bauman's is just about to finish his lap here. Across the line he goes. What does he manage? It's a 1:31.05. Not a bad time at all. Puts him 5th at the moment. That means that Mr. Sedgwick is the only driver not to register a valid lap time yet. Look at how squirrely these things are on the brakes. No ABS as far as I know. Proper driving machines though, IndyCar. Hard onto the power, into the chicane he goes. Chucks it left, waits for the car settle, chucks it right. Aaron Smith in his way again. It's the second time in this session. Aaron not having the easiest of times with it. He's in 4th at the moment. You'd expect Aaron Smith to be a master in these cars, you know. Something that can very suddenly bite your head off is the sort of car that he's usually very quick in. Alex gets a bucket load of understeer into Luffield, but gets the car pinched round. A little bit of a correction on the exit, hard on the power. Flicks up the grass, goes for the line. What's it going to be? He's done personal best. It's a 1:29.3 for Alex Cedric. Puts him 3rd fastest, ahead of Brian Crowles, who's just about to finish a lap himself. Although to me, that line says he's just about to start a lap. Still 7 minutes of qualifying left to go. Chucks it through cops. Very hard indeed. Mark Murphy crosses the line as well. He did a few personal best sectors in the middle. Does a 1:31.329. And again runs very wide on the exit. Jason Glenn's in the pits. Brian Crowles is off the circuit. Brian's had a big one. Maybe he's just made a mess of it and then decided to go back to the pits through Maggots and Beckett's. Oh, he's cut that hugely. Yeah, he's just decided to chuck it at the scenery and then go get a new one. It's part of the fun of sim racing. Out the pits he goes. He's got company. That's Jason Glenn right in front. Maybe a bit of slipstreaming going on here between the two teammates. These are both track velocity racing drivers. Pete Harrod, by the way. He's not done personal bests in Sector 2, but he's done 3 purple sectors so far in this lap. Absolutely on a mission right now is Pete Harrod. What does he do as he crosses the line? It's a 1:28.4. That's an absolute demon time by Pete Harrod, and his work here is done, I could say. Wow, wow, wow. Well done, Pete. He's got the pace to match the looks, based on the nickname, hasn't he? Fair play, Pete Harrod. Awesome driving. Yeah, 3 purple sectors at the end of that lap. Sectors 3, 4 and 5. He even did a purple sector in Sector 1 as well. So that's a total of 4 over the whole lap. Not that you needed me to tell you that. There's Cedric going after him. Now, what is Jason Glenn doing with Brian Kralls? The two of them still together. This is their outlap at the moment, let's not forget. Yeah, look, they're getting a really wide run through Luffield. Then hard on the power to get all of the straight line speed towards Copse. You have to be so committed through the first corner here. Jace has got it sorted out. Barely even a lift through the right, down 2 gears for the left, on the brakes again, 1 more change down. Patience, 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 gets on the grass a little bit. What's it going to be through Sector 1? It's not an improvement on his previous time, neither is Sector 2. No improvements there. Brian Kralls not improving either. Wait to see them through Sector 3, which will be on the exit of here. Down in towards the chicane, the timing beam will break. It's a personal best for Jason Glenn and for Brian, so they've both done well there. Didn't look like Jason got the optimum run through that chicane, though. Sector 4 is a personal best, though. Brian improves, but I think he had an incident point. Otherwise, it would have been a purple sector by Brian Kralls. He's gone faster than Pete Harrod did through there. Into Luffield. Once more for Jason Glenn. Couple of personal bests. Can he get any closer? He's 3/4 of a second off at the moment. He does improve by quite a lot. 1:28.8 as well, so he's into the 28s. What does Brian Kralls do? 1:29.8. So Brian lost quite a lot of time. Jason Glenn did a purple final sector there as well, so Pete Harrod really does have to watch his back. Oh, Alex is giving the grass a much-needed mowing there, and I'm afraid he's just bounced it out through Maggots and Beckett's, probably laughing his head off. Don't forget, everyone that watches, please do like the video. Make sure you subscribe to Vertex as well. There will be more series coming up in future, plenty more sim racing broadcasts with me as well, Chaz Draycott. And we look forward to having you along for the ride. And of course, if you are interested in joining in any of our races or events or series, head over to vertexesports.com or vertex-esports.com. And we will look forward to having you with us. It is actually just vertexesports.com, my bad. It used to be vertex-esports. Oh, now Jason Glenn has made a mistake in this second to last sector, but before that he'd done purple sectors in the middle, so we need to keep our eye on him again. We've got Ivan Bowmans and Mark Murphy both improving their times a little bit further down the order as well in 6th and 7th. We have Ben Kriener jumping in the session as well, the HPD Jazz Pro Europe driver, but I don't think he's going to be able to qualify. Oh, now did Jace get away with that there? Don't forget, he's going for the title here. He just needs to beat Sedgwick. That's all he needs to do. Alex is 6 points behind him in the championship. So Jace just needs a good result to wrap it up tonight. Back into club. Chucks it in deep on the brakes. Think he might have overdone it. He's done a personal best in Sector 1. No improvement in Sector 2, but he did go faster than Pete Harrod's previous lap. Pete does a purple sector, and the final sector improves again. 128.427 this time. So Pete trying to really shatter the morale. There goes Jace through the right-hander at bridge into the final complex, trying to make the car hug the inside. He's a bit hesitant through there. Nice and tidy through Brooklands. Smooth on the power. Doesn't hug the apex at Luffield. He's looking to tuck it in on the exit. He's improved, but it's not purple sectors. What time does he do? 128.8 to beat. 128.864. So he's only a couple of hundredths off Pete Harrod's time. And I think that lap is done. Yes, it is. That is it, I'm afraid, from Jason Glenn. We've got Alex Sedgwick near the end of a lap. Ben Kriener is about to start one. He's got 3, 2, 1. Oh my goodness, I don't know if he's made that, and he's got onto a lap there. He's carrying on, so we'll have to see. Either way, we've got drivers now finishing their laps. Pete Harrod, whoa, loops it behind Alex. Alex on his way in. Here's Aaron Smith. He's done no personal bests this time, unfortunately. I think he's just trying to get back used to the car again. It's something that actually handles a little bit. Mark Murphy is halfway around a lap, though. Ben Kriener's still going, you know. I think he might have just got that. And he may get a sole qualifying lap in. We'll stick with Mark Murphy for a minute and keep our eye on his ventures through this final sector. Personal best in Sector 3. So he could still do this, could Mark. He's 0.3 of a second behind Aaron Smith. And he's gone quicker than him in a number of sectors here by quite a bit. So hopefully, for his sake, he does jump up. Oh, he just misses out. It's a 130.007 for Mark Murphy. Not quite able to beat Aaron Smith. Here's Ben Kriener out of the final corner. And it does look to me like he's managed to cross the line in time to get a lap on the board. Through he goes. How well can Ben do with his time? Up to 7th. Just beats Ivan Bauman's with a 130.3. That's not bad without practice, is it? Fair play to Ben Kriener for that lap. But it's Pete Harrod that is going to take pole position for the final race of the season here. That's 1 championship point for him. You get a point for leading a lap and a point for being the biggest mover as well. And the most laps led, you get 2 points in these races in this championship. So the session will draw to a close now then. And the cars will disappear any moment now. And then they will reappear back on the grid as we will get said grid ready for you. Pete Harrod takes pole position for Pure Sims. The team can be very pleased with him for that one. Jason Glenn will line up alongside him in second place. Alex Sedgwick for Vertex Simulators is third, with Brian Crowles in fourth and Aaron Smith in fifth. He lines up alongside Mark Murphy. Ben Kriener will be interesting to watch from seventh, and Ivan Bauman's at the back of the grid in eighth. But 2.2 seconds separating the entire grid is really, really not a bad effort, to be honest. I'm sure all of them can be very, very pleased with themselves for that one. We're going to get a rolling start for this as well. So this may be quite the lap here. We'll see if the blimp cam will go around and catch them eventually. It's just looking over towards Maggots and Beckett's now. That's the old National Circuit straight just below us. The grandstands there on the way into Maggots and Beckett's. That's all slightly changed now. There is still a grandstand there, but it's much further over to the right-hand side. As far as I know, none of those buildings are there anymore either. Like I say, this scan of Silverstone on iRacing, over 13 years old now. We'll actually get quite a nice shot of the drivers coming through here, I believe. Just bear with me, this will be worth it. Well, you will see. 32 laps, of course, this race. So it's going to be quite the long one. competition caution at lap 16 if necessary. That's if the field gets too spread out for its own good. And there is the field on its way through. You can definitely tell which one's Aaron Smith in the bright yellow machine on the left-hand side of your shot there. But the motto of this season really has been that you don't need 30 plus cars to have a good race. We've had a lot of races with small grids, 10 or even less cars, but it's still been massive entertainment all the way throughout, and a lot of the drivers have thoroughly enjoyed themselves. And this is the man that's looking to try and wrap up the title. Pete Harrod has been very, very impressive all season though, as I knew he would be when he said that he'd signed up. And I think we're going to have a lot of fun with some of the drivers further back in the field. Keep an eye out on Ben Kriener, this guy in the solid black number 95 car. He's definitely going to be one to watch, because he's always flamboyant and exciting, is Ben. Cedric knows exactly what he needs to do as well. He's going to be trying to push very hard indeed to make moves early on. He, of course, is the man that's trying to take the title away from Jason Glenn. So he needs to be absolutely on it for this final race. Ivan Bauman's in the Gulf colours is really not, he's not giving Mark Murphy room to sort of slow down and heat up his brakes here. He's putting the pressure on, is Ivan. He's got the Lowe's livery of Brian Crowell's just in front, but look at this, Ivan he's ready to push here. He's not wanting to get caught out by any of this, is he? Bit of weaving, a bit of temperature in the tyres from some of the guys in front. But there are your front row, Pete Harrod and Jason Glenn. Coming into Bridge Corner now to get the race underway. Let us know who you think is going to take this in the chat, and who do you think is going to take the title. At the moment it looks pretty much like a two-horse race between Alex Cedric and Jason Glenn. It'll take something quite special for Ben Kriener and Brian Crowell to take it, same with Aaron Smith. So you've got to say it's between that number 55 of Jason Glenn and number 9 Alex Cedric. Either way, the final round of the Vertex Mixed Bag World Cup for 2021 is about to get underway. Pete Harrod is going to lead them. He's going to hold off putting the power down, and very suddenly we will be away. The 8 Dallaras roar into life. Cedric gets a very, very good start right behind Pete, tries to tuck in down the inside, puts the pressure on him, nothing doing there by the look of it. Smith was side by side with Crowell. Kriener's on the right hand side as well. Look at Ben Kriener go, he's getting 3 places already. The black car on your left, he's gone on the outside of Brian Crowell, down the inside now into Maggots and Beckett's, and he's already up to 4th place. All over the back of Cedric already. A strong train of cars makes its way through nice and cleanly. Now watch the slipstreaming here. It's going to be a humongous draft down the straight, but it's Pete Harrod taking an early lead. Jason Glenn's going to want to just stick with him at this point. Cedric doesn't want Kriener climbing around all over the back of him, because he needs to get his head down and move forward. Brian Crowell has got Mark Murphy and Aaron Smith battling behind. Ivan Bauman's tucked up right behind Smith at the moment. You can hear them being a little bit hesitant on the throttle. Here goes Kriener around the outside into the chicane, tries it. He's a little bit later on the brakes, doesn't work for him there. And now Crowell is surely going to have a bit of a dig. Working hard indeed. Brian Crowell's gloves there, the colour of Yvette's forearm. These guys are going to push these tyres very hard indeed. A little bit of a wobble on the power there from Alex Cedric, I think. What can he do to defend from Ben? Ben's got an absolutely massive run down the straight, and he's opened up the entry to Cops. No, nothing doing yet. by the look of it. Love watching the weight transfer of them there. Jason Glenn, purple final sector, but Pete Harrod had the fastest sectors out of anybody at the very front. Is Handsome Pete going to drive away into the distance? We have to wait and see. Now they get 10 pushes of their push to pass button over the course of the race by the look of it. They light up green when they use them. Ben Kriener has 9 of them left. He's just used one down the straight. To no avail, unfortunately. He's the only driver that's gained places in this race so far. Mark Murphy is where he started. Brian Crowell's ahead of him has lost a place. Aaron Smith has lost 2. Ben Kriener has gained 3. He's got Ivan Bauman's right behind him. There's Aaron Smith. I must say, probably my favourite livery on the grid tonight. Ivan Bauman's. That thing looks absolutely stunning. But it's the battles further up that are close. Jason Glenn has now got Sedgwick closing in right behind him. And then he, in turn, has got Kriener right behind him. But it was a very tidy first lap. Some great racing between these guys. They really got their elbows out, but not too much for these cars to fall apart. It's very easy to push a car like this a bit too hard and completely lose it. Cedric absolutely flying through Margetts and Beckett's there, climbing up to the back of Jason Glenn. He's actually using his push to pass now. Here's the slipstream. This is for the championship as well. Alex isn't in a championship winning position by being ahead of him, but it's certainly going to help. Well, Jason's coming back at him. I think we saw Aaron Smith going slowly in the background, by the way. Ivan managed to get past him. But Alex Sedgwick up into second position, ahead of championship leader Jason Glenn. Let's have a look at what happened to Aaron Smith. I think it looks to me like that's a slowdown penalty, unfortunately. Now, what Jason doesn't need for the championship is Ben Kriener putting him off, essentially. Because we know how aggressive and how fast Ben can be. And if there's anybody that can unsettle the driver in front of you, it is Ben Kriener. Very rapid young lad. He's got no fear. But this is not going to help Jason Glenn. Personal bests from all the drivers at the moment. Mark Murphy's actually just on the purple sector 1. Epic stuff by Mark. 12.5 seconds. Everybody else in the 12.6s. Seems like the track's getting quicker though. Everybody's constantly doing personal bests now. Maybe with just a little bit more room. They're all just having that bit of freedom to really push hard. Cedric hasn't actually managed to clear off from these guys too much yet. Harrod has got a 1.8 second lead at the moment. Jason is all over the back of Alex now. He's within a quarter of a second round here is Jace. Oh, Kriener's dropped it. Manages to save it. He's overheated the tyres maybe, but Kriener just had a real moment there. Managed to save it though. Great stuff from him. But it means that he's no longer in this fight. He's lost 2.5 seconds from that. Now he's some 5 seconds off the lead, but this is the battle for the championship and for second place. On to lap 5 we go. You can see Alex just stabbing the brakes for a second there. On his way into the second part of Margetts and Beckett's. Back on board with Jason Glenn. Ben Kriener using his push to pass again. Making sure that he's got as much power as he can get. Jason's just trying to keep it nice and tidy here behind Alex. To be fair, he can happily sit here and finish 3rd place in the race. Oh! So he's keeping it tidy. That was a little bit scary for him. Oh, Ivan Bauman's is off. Ivan's looped it. Let's have a quick look at what happened. Now, we've seen in practice some of them just clipping the curb on the inside like that, and it just unsettles the car ever so slightly, and it goes around. Such a shame. Closest 2 cars on track now are Mark Murphy and Brian Crowles. The pair of them separated by just 0.8 of a second at the moment. On to lap 6, Pete Harrod leads it by 2.3 seconds. Look at Mark through there, so quick. He takes a few tenths of a second out of Brian through there each time. Oh, Brian's cut that a lot. I wouldn't be surprised if that was a slowdown penalty, you know. Oh, Brian's out of shape. Now Mark's going to pounce. Here he comes. Brian goes right. Oh, Mark goes right. I would have expected him to go left there. He's trying to get around the outside, is Mark Murphy. 48 versus 58. And he's going to come out on top. Or in front. I don't want either of them to be on top of one another. Still fantastic stuff to watch. You've got to think about the aero wash as well here. It's a high-speed circuit. So a lot of the aerodynamic wash from the car in front can really affect you if you are the chasing machine. Oh, Ben Kriener's dropped it again. Ben Kriener pushing too hard. And unfortunately, his race has just gotten a whole lot worse. Let's have a look. Is it the curb again? There's a lot of weight transfer in this chicane. Throws it one way, gets it settled. Yeah, has a little bounce on the front wheel. Just lifts that front wheel off the ground slightly and around it goes. Oh, Aaron Smith's just gone off doing a bit of Parry Dakar. Let's have a look at what happened to Aaron. He didn't get any assistance, did he? Whoa. He has a big moment there. Maybe he's just overheated the rears. Yeah, he's definitely overheated them rears, and it just doesn't want to hook in. It doesn't want to go around the last corner. Now this has gotten closer. Hello, Jason. Down the inside he goes. And back up into 2nd place. Now this is helping Pete Harrod because he now has a 3.4 second lead over these lads. Great battle though between the 2 title protagonists. And then just behind, Mark Murphy still having a go at Brian Crowles. That's now for 4th position. Before it was for 5th place, but now 4th is on the cards. Here's your race leader though. Car 21 for Pure Sims, Pete Harrod on a mission at the minute. Just seemingly doing everything right at the moment. His best lap is a 1:29.0. Closest anyone's got to that is Alex Sedgwick with a 1:29.1. A couple of 1:29.3s in there as well. Ben Kriener actually did a purple sector 3 on this lap, so he's got the pace there. He's just not able to convert it, unfortunately. He's had a bit of a moment, and Ivan Bauman's is knocking on the door now. I think maybe he's overdone it on the rears. I think him and Aaron Smith are both suffering from the same problem here. Overheated the rear tyres, and the car just doesn't want to behave getting onto the power. It's very easy to over-rotate it from there. Now, these two just coming through our shot. Brian Crowles and Mark Murphy. Brian back in the slipstream again. He's 0.3 of a second back. That's not going to be enough to get ahead. He's very, very hot on the brakes, though, is Mark Murphy. He's run very wide indeed. Manages to keep it off the green stuff, but he's lost another 0.2 in doing that. And Ivan Bauman's has just had his own little excursion trying to get past Ben Kriener through Stowe. He's going to hate this bit through club because he's going to want to not light up the rears like Ben did there. Ben's out of shape. Told you he was flamboyant, didn't I? Now into the chicane again. What's Ben going to do this time? Oh, he's gone in way too deep. Ivan's gone with him, though. He sort of followed each other through that. Into the final complex again. What's Ben going to do on the power out of here? Because he's going to have a real problem with it. Now Mark Murphy is just recovering in front of us there as well. He's just had an issue. Maybe some of these guys just struggling to get to grips with the car a little bit. That's what happened to Mark. He was chasing down Brian Crowles. Oh, you could hear it start to go, but before you know it, it's too late. He's then ruined the rear tyres again. And Aaron Smith has come into the pit lane. Most probably to change his underwear as well as the tyres. Yeah, he's getting fresh rubber. Probably needs it, to be fair. Pete Harrod did the fastest lap of the race last time around, by the way, a 1:28.7. So he's doing qualifying pace in the race. We're over a quarter of the way through what is, you could technically call, the Vertex Grand Prix here at Silverstone. Whoa, Alex getting very lively there through the chicane. Lit up the rears a little bit. These guys are pushing so hard indeed, but Jason Glenn is doing everything he needs to do at the moment in that Benetton to take a championship win. Whoa, Alex has lost the rear end coming into the pits. These guys honestly feeling that they need to take tyres already. Mark Murphy's around, and I think Ben Kreener's just clipped him a little bit. Ivan Bauman's been very very courteous and waiting for him. Let's see what happened here. The tyres must be going off. Yeah, again, Mark just getting on the power. Ben does give him a tap. Not intentionally, of course. And Mark then gets back on with it. Alex Sedgwick on his way out of the pits now. 7-second pit stop for him. 7.9 actually for Alex. 7.07 for Aaron Smith. Pete Harrod's still doing personal best sectors out in front as well. I'll show you the track map where they all are at the moment. Nice and spread out, ready for the competition caution. Now, the only person that was not in the driver's briefing earlier was Pete Harrod. And in turn, that means he won't have heard about the competition caution at lap 16, which will be a bit of a break from the action because it'll mean that we've got a few laps behind the safety car, probably about 3. So it will be quite a long period of not racing. But we did mention earlier on that it will happen. So we can probably speak to a few drivers in that meantime. Just looking at the times. And it was a personal best from Ben Kreener last time, and he's actually done the fastest 4th sector out of anybody by quite a long shot. We're talking by 0.3 of a second. The cars that have pitted so far are the guys in 6th, 7th and 8th, Cedric, Murphy and Smith. Pete Harrod yet to pit. So, what will Pete Harrod make of the competition caution then? Because Jason Glenn, he's 6 seconds back. He can't match his pace at the moment. He's about half a second a lap slower. But he's still going hard. Look at that. Fastest lap of the race by Pete Harrod. 1:28.7. Jason Glenn does a 1:29.4. Brian Crowles is into the pits. He will creep down the pit lane. Back out goes Brian. Sorry, I was just trying to find a way of somebody at least letting Pete know about said competition caution. Oh, Aaron Smith's had an issue. Coming through bridge into the complex. Oh, he's looped it one way, then the other. It's gone around one way and then the other again. Onto the old national straight. Loops it. Now, they were fresh tyres recently for Aaron Smith. Mark Murphy's also come into the pit lane, I'm afraid. Not sure if he's had some sort of extra issue, but there's big damage on the left from where Kriener gave him a tap earlier. Mark Murphy's still in the pits. He's been in there for 5, 6, 7 seconds. Ben Kriener's off again. It's all kicking off here. Jason Glenn's in the pits now. Mark Murphy back out after 8.5 seconds in the box. Brian Crowell's off the road. Everybody really struggling at the moment, and the field has really spread out quite a lot. Got Jason Glenn coming out of the pits behind Ben Kriener. Actually, he's not even out of the pits yet. There is Ben. Flinging it through Maggots and Beckett's. Pete still pushing on, despite a little bit of a blip. I believe that was at my end, though, not his. But we still have all 8 cars running, which is great. Mark Murphy may be a lap down after his earlier issues, but we'll have to see whether he'll get that back. But this man has been supreme so far as Pete Harrod. And he continues to be, and he's actually coming into the pits now, so he's arming himself well for when the yellow gets thrown. That means Mark Murphy will unlap himself now, which is good. He has got that damage fixed on the left-hand side as well. Now, Jace went off track a moment ago. Let's have a look at what happened here. Oh, he's just gone way too hot into the club chicane. Now, I think Mark Murphy's had a separate issue. He has. He's already got the damage at this point, but he's lit it up, gone one way, and then the car flicks the other. It's not easy to get right. It really isn't. And that's when Aaron Smith went past him. And Mark from there decided that it was time to get back in the pits. He's had another issue here into the club chicane. Maybe pushing a bit hard. Aaron Smith's also had a problem at the final complex. But they will get a few laps to reset in a moment at lap 16. Everybody's still on the lead lap. Pete Harrod's still leading. Goes, oh, Mark Murphy's put it in the wall hard. Mark Murphy has properly put it in the wall now. That is a very, very broken race car, I'm afraid. Let's have a look what Mark did here. Hard into the chicane. Is he just going to bounce it off the curb and overcorrect? It's gone one way. Oh, and then it spat him the other. Bounced off the barrier and hit both ends. Carries on going, though. He's just trying to get it back to the pits. Although I don't quite think he realises how badly damaged that rear wing is. I'm not sure if he's run out of fast repairs or what. But it's certainly very, very broken. He's probably just going to wait till the safety car and then get it, but at the end of the day, the safety car is inevitable. Oh, look at the damage, not really helping him turn in. Look at Pete Harrod, and in perspective, look at Pete flying through there. Closing in very, very quickly right now. once Pete starts the next lap. The safety car will be brought out at the end of this lap, actually, so when Pete gets into the final sector, the safety car will be called, and then he will catch up to it on the 16th lap. So we will briefly go to the thumbnail for a second while I throw the yellow flag, because it's up to me. And then we will have a few laps of just being behind the safety car. Okay, bear with me 2 seconds, everybody. And I will throw the yellow. So there we go, Pete slows it down. And like I've said, everybody gets a chance to reset for a moment. And Jason Glenn will be second. He comes across the start-finish line. Alex Sedgwick comes around the final corner. You can see the cars with the red lights blinking on the back of them now. That is functional to say that they will be under caution and they will be slowing down. Right, that's Brian Crowles and Ben Kriener. Ivan Bauman's is currently in 6th position. He's just coming through the final corners. And then Aaron Smith is partway around a lap. Mark Murphy's car still continuing in battered condition. But there is the field behind the pace car. I'm just going to take this as a very brief moment to just quickly get a drink, because I'm, again, not prepared for a drink. So bear with me for a few minutes, and I'll be right back with you. Hello again, everybody. Chaz Draycott here for the Vertex Mixed Bag World Cup. Just under a little competition caution at the moment on lap 16 of this race. Pete Harrod has been doing a wonderful job leading the way so far. But it's up to Jason Glenn to take championship honours, and I'm just going to drag Jason in now for just a quick chat midway through. Jace, it's been a lively one so far. You've had Alex around you for most of it. Back in front of you now. How are you feeling about your championship so far, mate?
We just need to wait and see. There's a long way to go. I'm not sure if we will make it from here to the end of the race on fuel. That'll be really sketchy. You'll probably maybe put about a lap left or something. It'll be very interesting to see if anyone needs to pit or not.
Well, in terms of your pace, I mean, you've been right with Alex through all of it. I imagine you were over the moon to get back in front of him a little bit earlier, were you?
Yeah, I think we're just both going to play the same game of keeping close to each other. I think Pete seems to be, he's away off in the distance, so I think me and Alex are just trying to keep as close to each other as we can, and so we'll just need to see how we go.
Well, I hope it continues to be clean for you. It looks entertaining so far. What's the car like around here? hard work.
Yeah. There's no power steering in these things, so they're a real kind of hustle to get round, and they're quite understeery as well. So it's you've got to be patient but quick. But yeah, the arms and hands are feeling it already.
I'm not surprised, mate. Well, either way, I really hope that the rest of it goes well for you, buddy, and keep it clean. And I'll hopefully be speaking to you at the end.
Yeah, cheers, mate. Catch you later.
Cheers. And I think it's only fair that we get the chat from the other side of the camp as well. Alex Sedgwick joins me in the box. Alex, this looks like a right barrel of laughs, but as Jason's described it there, a real handful.
Yeah, I've not been in control of my car at any point during this race so far. I have very little idea what I'm doing, but we're making it work. It's all good. So, yeah, obviously it's a little bit interesting with fuel and this caution. My plan A was to kind of split the race into thirds. This caution is kind of right in the middle of that second stint, so it leaves me with coming up with kind of a plan B, C, D, E, F, and whatever we end up on. So, yeah, I mean, it saved me because I had a little spin, but it should be interesting now, and we'll see how much tyres make a difference as well. I think Jace just got fuel, I got fuel and tyres, and then obviously the three guys in front of me are on older tyres, but with low fuel, so we shall see what happens.
Yeah, and that's the thing in these cars, you know, they are really affected by the weight of that fuel as well, so it's not like it's just how long they can go, it's what sort of extra pace they can unlock with that, isn't it? It's a bit of a different beast to what we're used to.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the fall off in the first couple of runs was very low, because obviously the fuel weight reducing is kind of negating the impact of tyre wear. So yeah, it makes it interesting, and it means that everyone kind of remains fairly evenly matched, no matter kind of how much tyre life they've got. So it just makes it even more difficult for me to fire my way through past everyone, pretty much.
Well, it's certainly been a joy to watch it so far, mate. I hope the rest of it goes well, and we'll catch up with you a bit later.
Thank you very much.
Cheers. So there you go then, the two title protagonists at the moment, Alex Sedgwick and Jason Glenn, both having very different races at the moment, but very similar in many ways. We've currently got Brian Crowles and Ivan Bauman's, both for Track Velocity Racing, 2nd and 3rd. Jason Glenn, the other Track Velocity Racing car, in 5th. But nobody has been able to topple Pete Harrod yet. Lights are out on the safety car here at Silverstone. We'll be going all the way to the end from here. And as Alex mentioned there, it could be very close on fuel. So who do you think's going to make it? It could still be anyone's yet. The field has been split up a little bit here. Mark Murphy got waved around as well, as you saw, so he's gained that lap back, and he's even got overall positions ahead of Ben Kriener and Aaron Smith now. Pete Harrod really slowing it down into the final couple of corners. Waiting for his moment to give it all he's got. He's going to wait for the pace car. He doesn't want to go too early. He's weaving a bit as well at the final corner, really holding them up. And he's gone. He gets on with it. That's a really good launch by Pete Harrod. And look at Alex Cedric immediately trying to go past Ivan Bauman's. The two of them side by side for third place down the straight. But Pete goes with it. Brian Crowell's going for second place. Alex Cedric round the outside at turn 1. That's not what Jason Glenn wants to see. He wants to be ahead of Ivan as well. The two of them teammates at Track Velocity Racing, as mentioned. But for the championship, Alex needs to really crack on with it now, and he's using his push to pass. A few of them are. Ben Kriener's doing it as well at the back of the field. Mark Murphy could even be a spoiler in the pack now for Jason Glenn as he goes to make a move. Jace looks down the inside of of Ivan. Nothing doing this time round though. But Pete Harrod, awesome start, absolutely awesome. Really flying away with it. Mark Murphy's off. I think he might have made contact with Jason Glenn. I think they've got away with it, or maybe a bit of a kiss there from Ben Kriener. Ben getting very close to the back. Yes, there is damage to the right rear of Jason's car. You can see it on the wing end plate. Oh, as Ivan Bauman's goes across the road. Mark Murphy definitely having some sort of issue on the brakes there. Maybe just wasn't expecting them to brake that early. Oh, wow. Jason got very lucky there. Jason got very lucky indeed because he got turned one way, then the other. Not sure what sort of aero damage he'll have. Looks like he's lighting up the rears a little bit as well. Oh dear, oh dear. Oh my goodness me. Ivan Bauman's barging his way through past his teammate there to go around the outside of him. It's holding him up now, if anything. Aaron Smith trying to get back in on this as well. This is very suddenly gone from bad to worse for Jason Glenn. Maybe the Chaz curse. Further up the field, here's Alex Cedric trying to get past his old mechanic, Brian Crowells. He's not old, I just mean used to be his mechanic. Brian's a lovely bloke, but he's not going to be right now. He's going to fight this to the death. He's not going to let Alex go through. Alex chucks his nose down the inside, doesn't make anything of it. Brian holds on. Aaron Smith now getting past Jason Glenn into the club chicane. Jason stays in front, though. Great commitment through there. Now, he may be able to get away with this if they have a pit stop to go, but if I'm honest, you get 45 points for a win. I think you get something like 42 for second place. I think with the position difference at the moment, Cedric would take the title from Jason Glenn. And he's actually got ahead of Crowells now. He did that out of sight. He's going to get a nice run out of here down towards the chicane. Brian Crowell's in the pits as well, so not quite sure what's happened to that. Jason Glenn also in the pits. Oh, Brian's looped it and he's damaged it. He's broken his front wing. Jason Glenn also coming in because of the damage, which means Alex Cedric is now in a championship winning position. Ben Kriener up to third place. And Ben is third in the championship as well. He could actually jump Jason too here with a really good finish. They're on their way out. Fresh rubber. They can probably go to the end now. But that's a real shame for the championship leader coming into this round. 11 laps to go. Pete Harrod, though, has been absolutely untouchable at the moment. Not really anything slowing him down, to be honest. He's almost taking it easy through this last section here. And so he should. He doesn't have to absolutely rag it everywhere, as long as he's staying out in front. Now Kriener has closed right up behind Cedric now. Only 0.4 of a second between the two of them. Cedric running wide out of Cops as well. This isn't over yet, because Ben could be the spoiler in the pack. Mark Murphy, I think, has called it quits, unfortunately, after a very difficult race. Look at that, Ben going straight through Alex, not even bothering to fight him. He says, nah, mate, you go. You go indeed. And away Ben goes, using that push to pass. Him and Alex are the only drivers that have used it so far. Doesn't seem to make too much of a difference. I think mainly it's just the slipstream down here. There's your track map. Numbers 6 and 7 at the top of it are Brian Crowles and Jason Glenn. So they're almost half a lap behind. A pit stop costs you about 37 seconds at the least, it seems. They're currently 36 and 40 seconds off the lead, so they won't be too far down on the pack once everybody's pitted if it stays as is. They just really need to put some good laps in between now and then. Of course, they're on fresh rubber as well. They just need to limit the mistakes. What we're looking at here, though, is the battle for 4th and 5th place. This is Aaron Smith, as I've said, double Vertex Stock Car Cup champion. A very popular man here on this channel. Now, Alex Sedgwick is back in. I think he might even be in for a splash and dash here. Ivan Bowmans and Aaron Smith are going to both go through. Now, Alex's pit stop is definitely one to watch. I'll show you where him and Jason are on the map. Jason is the number 7 dot, just coming around the final corner. If Alex wants the chance of getting ahead, he needs to go now, and he is going now. Very intriguing. Brian Crowles will be along any moment now. But there is Alex, and he is out in front. Brian behind, and then Jason behind him. So that's the difference at the moment. But what's going to happen when everybody else pits? In terms of the pit stops we've had, multiple stops for different people, but only Pete Harrod and Ivan Bowmans have stopped once each so far in this race. Pete's just been a joy to watch, hasn't he, this evening? He's always been good. He's always been quick. He's consistently quick. That's the thing with Pete. It's not like he's rubbish in any cars. He's just really quick everywhere. You just get to enjoy watching him race. 8 laps to go here at Silverstone, and 8 laps to go in the entire championship in the Vertex Mixed Bag World Cup. It's been a long, long ride. It's certainly been an entertaining one. Alex Sedgwick using the push to pass again, just to get an extra push down the straight. Aaron Smith is into the pits, so he's having a stop. Here comes Alex, followed by Brian. Followed by Jace. They all go through. Mark Murphy has unfortunately exited the race, so we won't be seeing any more of Mark this evening, I'm afraid. Sedgwick, though, he's pushing that push to pass everywhere at the minute. He did a purple sector 5 in that last lap there. Pete Harrod's just done a purple sector 3 on this one. Ben Kriener is doing personal bests that are pretty much matching Pete as well. So that black number 95 is on the move. What does Pete do in terms of a lap? It's the fastest lap of the race, so 128.5 for Pete Harrod, 128.8 for Ben Kriener. Ivan Bowmans is now into the pits. And very, very hard on the brakes into the pits as well. Comes Ivan. Crawling his way down there. He'll pull over onto the right-hand side for his stop. Alex Sedgwick will be along any moment now. Here he is. Now Jason's actually within a second of his teammate Brian here, so he might actually get some slipstream off him. Could help him out. Jace could get close enough to clinch the title. just needs to make sure that Alex doesn't beat him by 6 points or more. Now, nobody except Pete Harrod has got any points for leading a lap, so there's no complications there. Biggest mover in the field is Ben Kriener at the moment. And Pete Harrod got the point for pole position, so there's no extra points involved at the minute. It's all just going to be down to the points that they get for their overall positions. We've had a spin. Who was that getting going again? It's Alex Sedgwick. Alex has had a moment as Jason has gone past Brian. I was just looking at the championship standings for a moment, just to try and figure out the points. So we'll see Alex's spin in just a moment. Here he comes through bridge into the complex. Oh, he's dropped it on the change down. It's a nice 360. He gets away with it. And Brian has let Jace back through to help him in the championship. And that's the gap between the two now. It's swung back Jace's way with 6 laps to go. What's everybody like for pit stops, though? Pete Harrod still only stopped once. Bauman's has stopped twice and now dropped down to 7th, but he had a very, very long stop. I think after how hard Ivan was on the brakes into the pits last time, I think he actually got done for speeding in the pits, I'm afraid. So he's had to deal with that one himself. Pete Harrod's done the fastest lap of the race again. Last time round, 1:28.2. That one was a 1:28.6 that he's just completed there. But he's been absolutely untouchable so far. He's only had 1 off track as well, which is a incident point for going outside track limits. Ben Kriener's had 11, just to put that into context. That's probably another one. But Sedgwick is only 1.3 seconds ahead of Jason Glenn now. I'm pretty sure if it finishes like this, Jace is champion. 5 laps to go. Ride on board once again with Jason Glenn. Through Cops. Looks to me like Alex's tyres are a little bit, well, tired at this stage. But then again, Jason pitted before him. So Alex has got the fresher rubber for the end of the race. Alex on that push to pass button again. Doesn't make all the difference in the world, though. Like I've said, I don't expect it to be doing that much. Now, will Pete Harrod come in this time round? He's just nearing the end of the lap, I should say. That's Ivan Bauman's very kindly getting out of the way for him. No in-lap this time from Pete either. Flinging it through Cops he goes. Turbo's whistling away. Now, I said Jace is on older rubber, but he's actually gained a few tenths on Alex on that previous lap. He's now 1.1 seconds behind him. Oh no! No, Jace has looped it. Now, what's he going to lose in terms of position here? I was just looking at it thinking, he's doing really well. Aaron Smith is now right behind him, but Brian Crowell's... Brian will have to really slow down to let his teammate take this if he can, but there's 4.7 seconds between the two of them now. Let's look at it from Brian's point of view. Can we see anything else? No, probably not. We'll just go on board with Jace. Honestly, how many people have you seen do that today? It's been done multiple times. Jace just needs to be careful now. There's only a handful of laps left to go. He can't give away another position. By the look of it, you get 45 for a win. Then you get 43. Pete Harrod's in the pits. Then you get 41, 39 and so on. 37, 35, you get points for leading a lap and so on. So by the look of it, I think Jace might just get away with it if he finishes behind Brian. Ben Kriener goes through. He's actually going to get a point for leading a lap now. So Ben takes the race lead. Pete Harrod comes back out. And let's just see whereabouts he is. Well, Pete is that number 2 dot, and everybody else is just coming on to the start-finish straight. So that shows you just how dominant Pete Harrod has been tonight. He's been an absolute star. I'm sure he'll be absolutely over the moon. But we just wait to see what happens with this man. No, this man. Jason Glenn still 4th place is his teammate, and he sits in 5th, just ahead of Aaron Smith. Now Aaron cares not for what Jason wants to do with the championship. I can tell you for a fact actually that they are all in a Discord chat together. It's Ivan Bowmans, Aaron Smith, Alex Cedric, Brian Kralls and Jason Glenn, and they are all actually 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th in the race. They are all in a line in the overall order. So they will be communicating with each other, just telling them what they're doing. But I'm pretty sure that if it's 2 points per position, Jason will still win the championship if it finishes like this. Oh, wow. Okay, well, Aaron's not overtaking him. Oh, wowie, wow. Oh, Aaron, that was an absolute monster of an accident. Again, is it just an overcorrection one way than the other? Yep. Oh, he's clipped one wall, then gone into the other. Nope. That's jumped to Pete Harrod leaving the pits. This is what happened to Aaron then. You see it goes there, and then that bounce on the curb. That's an absolute monster of an accident for poor Aaron Smith. Oh, I love Aaron. Honestly, he's such an entertainer. Such an entertainer. I thought he was going to reverse the rest of the lap. And you know what? I wouldn't have had a problem with that. Ivan Bowmans has now had an issue. That's on his way into the second to last corner. That's at Brooklands. But Ben Kriener still leads this race. But very slowly. Why is he going so slowly? Is he out of fuel? No, he's not. Using push to pass. Why on earth has Pete caught up with him so much? Not sure if Ben just wants to race him or not, but we'll see. We've got to lap 31 to 32 here at Silverstone, then 2 laps to go. And we have a battle on our hands for the race lead. Kriener leading Harrod. Sedgwick 3rd at the moment in this race. Brian Kralls 4th. Jason Glenn, champion-elect, in 5th position. What can Pete do here? Now Ben was using push to pass there, down that straight. And you could see that Pete wasn't able to do anything in the slipstream. So maybe it does make enough of a difference. It'd be a shame for Pete not to win this race, really. Based on the performance he's had so far, he's going to have to pull something out of the bag to beat Ben Kriener. Ben's been the only man really to match Pete consistently on pace. Pete will be working so hard now, though, to beat the young Scot. And Ben will be working so hard to not get beaten by him. We're going to go on to the final lap. I can't imagine Ben will be pitting. He's not. He carries on then. One more tour of Silverstone for these guys in the Vertex Mixed Bag World Cup. Ben Kriener's actually done 3 stops. So I imagine it's just worked out differently for them. Alex Cedric uses his last push to pass. He's staying ahead of Brian Crowles at the moment. But this is the battle at hand then. Pete Harrod chasing down Ben Creaner. Ben uses push to pass again. And still Pete can't do anything about it. The aero wash around here is going to be horrible. Pete working hard to just get that final position off him. I will be absolutely distraught for Pete Harrod if he hasn't won this race, and it doesn't look like at the moment that he can keep with Ben. That's another push to pass. That's Ben's final one. So we can't use any more. So Pete just needs to hope that Ben makes a mistake in these final couple of corners. Through bridge again. Chucking it in. Into the complex one more time. Now Ben has looped it at the second to last corner before. Pete really chucking it in as hard as he can. Into Luffield once more. He's going to try and line up the run. He's all over the back of him through there. Ben's almost brake checking him on the apex. But after all of that, it's going to be Ben Creaner that takes the win at Silverstone in the Vertex Mixed Bag World Cup from Pete Harrod. Pete will be absolutely devastated with that. He was so dominant all the way through tonight. And Ben steals it from near the back of the grid. What a performance. Alex Cedric comes home in third position. Great drive for Alex. Brian Crowles is going to be in fourth, but your champion of the Vertex Mixed Bag World Cup is Jason Glenn. Yes, sunshine. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Very well done to Jason. He'll be absolutely loving that, bless him. Over the moon, I'm sure. Got Ben Creaner doing some donuts, or Pete Harrod doing some donuts. Yes, it's Pete doing a burnout. I'll get my stuff straight. That's a hell of a burnout by Pete Harrod as well. But there he is. Jason Glenn is the Aaron Smith, oh my God. Jason Glenn is the Vertex Mixed Bag World Cup champion. And I tell you what, he had to work hard for it, didn't he? Wow, he did. Look at the donuts. Look at the pretty donuts. Alex Cedric made a late resurgence in the end of the season. He wasn't actually as dominant as we expected him to be. But some of the oval events he was quite untouchable, to be fair. And he put in a hell of a performance towards the end. Ben Creaner takes the race win then from Pete Harrod with one of the most ironic gaps I think I've ever seen. If you don't know, you don't know. Alex Cedric finishes third. 18 seconds off the leaders though. Brian Crowles finishes fourth in a track velocity racing trio. Jason Glenn, your new champion, finishes in fifth ahead of Ivan Bauman sixth. Aaron Smith one lap down in seventh. And Mark Murphy unfortunately did not complete the race. But well, Jason will be very pleased, as you can imagine. He's shredding them rear tyres because he doesn't need them anymore. Awesome stuff. Aaron Smith is still going with Brian Crowles here. They're almost drifting around each other. And that'll be that from them boys. Although Jason's still out there, still doing a burnout somewhere. No, he's actually jumped back as well. Now I, just for entertainment purposes, I want to see Aaron Smith's finish of this race. Well, here was Ben Creaner and Pete Harrod across the line anyway. Pete pushing him right to the flag. Awesome race from those guys. Here's Aaron Smith completing it. Here's Jason Glenn, actually. We'll show you Jason as he crosses the line to win the championship. Alex has confirmed that he's definitely P1. They're just doing the updated points in the background for everybody else. And there he is. The champion, Jason Glenn. You've got to love it. Aaron Smith pushed him to the line, though. If it wasn't for Aaron's massive incident, he probably could have given him a real fight at the very end of that race. We'll see exactly how Aaron arrived on the scene to come and celebrate with everybody, as they all did donuts and burnouts at Maggots and Beckett's. This is how Aaron decided to make his entry. There's no showman quite like Aaron. He's just brilliant. Really, really brilliant. Oh dear. Dear, oh dear. Well, we may as well start with the man that finished top of the pile. Biggest mover in the field and overall race winner after that. Ben Kriener. Ben, you must be absolutely buzzing after that, mate. I mean, not much practice time really to get to grips with these cars, and it's not an easy beast to drive, but you absolutely nailed that one. How did you feel?
I don't know, mate, to be honest with you. I had one lap of practice going into this. Yeah, Alex was mentioning that fuel was going to be a little bit of a problem. So he said 1, maybe 2. So I've realised, okay, fuel's going to be an issue here. And when under the competition caution, I'd calculated that we could just stretch it to 14 laps, but with an awful lot of fuel saving. And I realised that we got when we came out of the pits, it said 2 to green, and I was expecting it to say 1 to green. So I thought, hang on a minute, if I come in again at the end of this lap, that'll give me 14 laps to go, which theoretically speaking, if I fuel save like crazy, I should be able to hang on. So, and yeah, it's quite cool to bookend the season with 2 race wins, both of which involve fuel management, and both of them had a side-by-side finish with Pete over the line. So, well, it's quite a good way to do it.
Hey, well, indeed, mate. It was a hell of a race, and to be fair, I mean, you just sort of came out of the blue with that one at the end as well. I mean, I wasn't expecting you to stay out as long as that, so I did wonder in terms of the fuel saving whether you would manage it. But even still, it was absolutely awesome to see, and to be fair, a very, very strong way to finish the season. Do you think that we should? Do you think we should have something similar to this again? Because it's been a bit of a blast, to be honest. I think.
Has been, yeah. I think the concept of doing different things, I think, is absolutely brilliant, because it always keeps people on their toes. You know, you can't really get too much into a rhythm with a car. There's a lot of different. There's a lot of changeable features within a series, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that's great. And I think doing it again, we should look at doing it with more of the free content with the series, because that means that you can really open up to people. A lot wider, so with like rookie Mazdas and old layouts of the tracks like these, you know, because I was fully expecting it to be the Grand Prix layout, to be honest with you. And in complete honesty, I did actually run 5 laps of practice on the new Silverstone a couple of days ago, just to sort of have a feel for things, and got a bit of a shock when I loaded into the session and saw the old one.
Oh,
so
no.
I think the concept is absolutely brilliant. It's been an absolute laugh doing these every single week and keeping people on their toes. And I think if we can try and get it in front of a wider audience and get more people involved, then this could be something huge that tests the best of the best, because, you know, it really puts you on your toes. One week you're driving a GT3 car, and then it's a rallycross car, and then you're, you know, stadium chucks and back in an Indy car again. So you can't get settled down, and that'll really sort of show you who the best drivers are. And I think that's a concept that should definitely be adopted, you know, on a wider front than just here, because this is a brilliant series and more people should do it, and more people should take part.
Yeah, well, that's it. You know, it's a shame we had the small grids, but it was still very entertaining to watch throughout, and, you know, a lot of the racing that we had in all the different cars was just amazing. You know, it was a hell of a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Hell of a lot of fun.
It was very good, and it is. And the thing is that because of the changing grids, even though the grids were smaller, there was never a dull race this season. You know, each race was exciting, and even in a long race where the field can spread out and it was such a small field like this one, like we had today, the race was still exciting because you had guys that were so close on pace, and then you have the complete nutters who try and make it to the end on 1.5 pit stops, relatively speaking. Yeah. Which it makes it more exciting. It keeps people on their toes. It keeps the drivers thinking as well, because I mean, obviously, as soon as I was sort of telling myself that obviously the longer Pete stayed out, it was like, no, he must be coming into the pits. There's no way he can make it to the end, you know. And sort of once I realised that he was, lifting and coasting, and then it was, okay, I need to save more, and I was losing almost 10 seconds a lap at that point with just trying to keep it going, and as soon as I managed to save enough that as soon as Pete caught up behind me with 2 to go, it just, looking at what was going down, I've just had 2 laps left of fuel in it, and actually just before the line under the red banner, just over after the penalty, actually it ran out, it started coughing there, so Pete actually very nearly got me at the end, because I actually did run out of fuel. I did run out of fuel over the line, and actually when I just pulled off it going into maggots there at the end, that was the car completely dead. So I couldn't actually go I couldn't go any further if I'd wanted to, and it's things like that that makes having a mixed series more interesting, because you get different drivers at the front every week, you get different types of racing, different types of circuits, and ultimately that just means it's more interesting for the folk watching. It's why a lot of people argue F1 isn't interesting as much as I think it is, because it's same types of tracks every single year, same drivers, same cars, same guys at the front, and so it's, you get into a bit of a routine of expecting who's going to finish where, and you just couldn't here.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's always been entertaining, all the different mixes, and you know, it's opened my eyes to a few different forms of motorsport, even just within iRacing that I hadn't seen before, and it's been phenomenal fun, and I really hope we can do it again. It's been great to watch you as well, Ben. You know, you took some great wins this season, and hopefully we'll see you in it again soon. Is there anybody you'd like to give a quick shout out to while you're here?
Absolutely. I mean, obviously the guys at Vertex, regardless of what the world or small grids or anything for all of them, they're always here. They're always putting on a good show, and it always makes, you know, evenings more fun. Obviously, yourself with a fantastic broadcast, because it means everyone can watch all the shenanigans we get up to, and who doesn't love that? And of course, you've got the guys down at Honda who are occupying most of my time, but it's well worth it. We're doing a lot of exciting things this year, a lot of actual real-world development to come, and there's definitely a long program there. So you're definitely going to see me doing. You're going to see me doing a lot more with Honda and some of their partners, including Fanatec. Big shout out to them as well for helping out along the way.
Love it. Well, I really look forward to seeing how you get on, Ben. Another great win tonight, mate. Very well done. And I look forward to speaking to you again soon, buddy.
I'll see you soon, mate.
Cheers. Ben Kriener, absolute superstar of the future, and honestly, very, very quick indeed, and plenty of fun to have a chat with. Now then, let's just give him a moment, because Jason Glenn is the Vertex Mixed Bag World Cup champion. Jace, when this season started, mate, first off, congratulations. Like, it's an absolute pleasure to see you win it. When this all started, did you think that you could get it all together and take the title?
No chance. Not at all. No way. I seem to always can kind of do good times in practice, but putting it into a race just doesn't seem to work for me with these sim things, as we saw tonight. I mean, that was a proper squeaky bum race a few times. But yeah, but no, I didn't think it would happen. I'm quite delighted. You know, it's nice to be able to keep the over 35s in the mix and show people that even at over 35 you can come and mix it with these younger under 25 boys.
Certainly can, mate. You certainly can. Well, you know, it's one of those things, like you said there, about putting the times in practice and so on. It's incredible how many drivers there are that can do one or the other. You know, people are either amazing on race pace, that can just calculate it all the way through, or they can just do a completely banzai lap whenever you need it. And it's very interesting to see that mix. Not only just that, but the different cars as well this season. You've not had all the time in the world to get used to different cars that you don't always drive. Have you had any particular favourites this season?
I quite like the Pro 4 trucks. I thought they were great fun. Just the big jumps and all that, they were great fun. And even the next gen NASCARs, just to bring them out for a race when they're not kind of on the mainstream yet, was really good fun. I quite like the way they drive, but they've all been good fun. They've all had their wee things. The rallycross ones were really tricky to get your head around, and then obviously we had the dirt oval, which you just have to learn to drive sideways, and that's just really bizarre.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Well, it's been very fun to watch, mate, and I mean, to be fair, even the race tonight, with the small grids that we've been having, you know, we've not had a dull race, and I think even tonight there were a few moments where your championship sort of went one way and then the other, didn't it? It was a bit of a roller coaster in terms of the points.
Yeah, it was a bit messy. I mean, I think Alex went off once, and it seemed to be whatever he did, I went and did. So he'd bin himself, then I would bin myself, or I would bin myself, then he would. Then whatever it was, I got run into the back of, and I just thought, well, that's us gubbed. So try and do a couple of laps and just fill it up with fuel and hope that either people need to fuel save or whatever. But we're kind of lucky the way it fell out. But you know, it's still good fun. They're hard to drive. It's really tricky to judge when you're following someone where to brake, because it's just such a short kind of, you're hard on the brakes then bleeding off. It's not like the NASCARs where it's like half a straight of braking.
Yeah.
So you can, but yeah,
you tap the brakes in these things and they stop very suddenly. I mean,
yeah.
We saw the contact with Mark Murphy where there was that tiny little bit of just hesitation from him. He was sort of thinking, right, where do I brake, and then suddenly, bang, all of a sudden you were just stopped, and it's like there's no brake lights, there's no warning.
No.
It really gives you a bit more of an appreciation for the guys that do it in real life when them sudden closing speeds are upon them, doesn't it?
Oh yeah. I mean, F1, IndyCar, even the F2s, and all these cars are the high downforce single seaters where their braking zones are so small. I mean, it's you're talking half a meter too late and bang, you're in the back of them. But yeah, we came away with it in the end, so we'll take it. It was a bit squeaky bum at the end. I wasn't really sure if we'd done enough, but yeah.
It's paid off, mate, and it's an absolute delight to see it. I'm really pleased for you as well, and hopefully if we do it again, you can come and defend your title. But obviously we aim to have a Vertex Stock Car Cup running again in the sort of end of the year. Can we expect to see you back for that one as well?
Yeah, as long as I'm not away working, I'll be there, of course. I mean, it's something that you know, as we've said a few times through the Vertex things, I'd gone away from the sim racing stuff until lockdown, and I was one of these people that had to shield and I had nothing to do, so I just got the rig out again. And then Alex put up the first season of Vertex, and you know, you meet like yourself and Aaron, Brian, Ivan, all these guys who are like-minded, love motorsport, love this, and it's just a really nice wee community to be a part of. And I'll definitely be back. It makes a difference to just jumping on a computer and battering around yourself against all these other guys from around the world, but having a good group of guys who race hard and have a good laugh and take the mickey out of each other all the time, it just makes it that a proper little community. I think it would be very hard to not come back.
Nicely said, mate. Nicely said. And again, very well done on the title, mate. You thoroughly deserve it, and hopefully we'll see you again soon. But for now, is there anybody you'd like to give a quick shout out to while you're on stream?
Yeah, just shout out to you, mate, for the awesome commentary. I know it's always commented on about how well you do with the stream. Alex for hosting it, and for the good battles me and him have had all season. Brian and Ivan for all the laughs and the kind of testing and that we've done. Danny, who I know has watched every race and kind of embraced sort of one of my passions. My dad as well, he watched it, and I know Chris and Cole and Owen were watching as well tonight, and me and Chris and a few others are heading off in the van tomorrow down to Silverstone for a weekend of motorsport, F1, and that'll be brilliant.
Oh, cracking. Well, have a wonderful time, mate, and you know, you can get there and say, hey, I won here on Wednesday night, so exactly. Beautiful. You've got to love it. Again, well done, Jace. Great to speak to you as always, mate. Have a fantastic weekend down in Silverstone, and we'll see you again very soon, buddy.
Cheers, mate. Catch you later.
Thank you. Jason Glenn, absolute star, and to be fair, really deserving of the title. And the man that pushed him all the way there was Alex Cedric. And to be fair, mate, you had a lively race in itself, didn't you? There was moments all over the shop, and championship went one way then the other, and I mean, people like Karina just randomly coming through the field working the strategy out. It had a bit of everything.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we survived until the end, which is the main thing. But yeah, it was pretty crazy. You know, there was, like you said, a lot going on, a lot to think about and take in, and as I said under the caution, you know, you're kind of having to reassess your strategy and your plan for the race. Pretty much the whole way through. So yeah, that was hard work, and then adding a car that, yeah, like I said before, I had very little idea what I was doing with. So no, it was good fun. It was again like a different type of race to what we've had in all the other cars we've done so far in this series. So yeah, a lot of fun, and yeah, Jace is very worthy of the championship win as well.
Yeah, he's shone in quite a lot of the different cars, and I mean, with the small amount of time that everybody gets to get used to them as well, it's certainly been a different challenge, and it's not been the same people winning all the time. The results have been very different, and also because the small grids have been a bit of a blessing in a way, because it's kept the championship tight, really, really tight in terms of the points. But at the same time, it's also meant that somebody could be completely at the back of the grid for one race and not be completely thrown out of the championship competitively. So it's been an absolute joy to be sort of figuring out the numbers and watching all of that as well. Now, obviously, going forward, we have sort of minor plans for another Vertex Stock Car Cup in the future, which should be a hell of a lot of fun. But, I mean, for now, is there anything else that people can look forward to on the channel that you know of?
So nothing in the immediate future, but yeah, like you say, you know, there'll be a Vertex Stock Car Cup Season 4 at some point. Hopefully, we can bring back a bit of a bigger grid over the autumn winter for that, and with Track Velocity, Brian, Jace, and Ivan, I'm sure there'll be a few special events coming up soon as well. So yeah, just keep an eye out for anything that seems interesting.
Love it. And of course, well done to you as well on your results this season, mate. It's been, again, an absolute pleasure to be working with you and everybody at Vertex, and hopefully we can do it all again, because that was a right laugh that season, and I think it was a very, very good success, especially with the drivers as well. They all absolutely loved it. For now, though, is there anybody that you'd like to give a quick shout out to while you're here?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as ever, thanks to you and everyone that helps to put it all together, to, you know, Track Velocity and the teams that we have racing with us, the drivers, the viewers, everyone really.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure to be a part of it, Alex. Thank you very much for having me, mate. And enjoy the rest of your evening, and I will hopefully speak to you again very, very soon, buddy.
I will do. Thank you very much.
Cheers, mate. Well, there you go, everybody. That is unfortunately the end of the Vertex Mixed Bag World Cup. Jason Glenn takes the title for Track Velocity Racing. He finished the series on 344 points, 4 points ahead of Alex Cedric on 340. 9 points further back from him was tonight's race winner Ben Kriener, who takes third place, just ahead of Brian Crowles, who finished on 325. And then in fifth place, Aaron Smith on 317. Pete Harrod was sixth in the championship on 284, just ahead of Mark Murphy, who we unfortunately lost a little bit earlier in the race, as you can see there. And then eighth in the championship was Ivan Baumans. But that is all for now, everybody. Thank you very, very much indeed for being with us this season. It's been great to have you all with us. Very deserving champions and very, very interesting races, despite having small grids, which just proves you don't need 30 cars to have a good race. Anyway, we'll hopefully see you in winter for the Vertex Stock Car Cup. Make sure you keep an eye out on the channel for any special events coming up in the future. My name is Chaz Draycott. This has been the Vertex Mixed Bag World Cup. I'll get it right one day. I will see you again very, very soon. Have a good night, everybody.